June 2015, Chicago, Illinois, Rhona Hoffman Gallery.
Hi, we're here with Rhona Hoffman. Please tell us about your experiences. How long has the gallery been open?
Well, it depends. If you call it the Young Hoffman Gallery, it's almost 40 years. If you call it the Rhona Hoffman Gallery, it's 35 years. So I started out, Donald Young and I opened the gallery in Chicago in 1976 in October. And then we split off and Rhona Hoffman Gallery became established in 1983. We always agreed on the kind of art we were showing, which was that which was not shown in Chicago and that which was had a more national or international appeal, and that which interested us. We never showed anything that we didn't like. We were never, and I now am never moved by fashion.
The trends of the moment.
The trends of the moment. Some of the things that I've shown have become trends of the moment. I show Cindy Sherman and Barbara Kruger and Jenny Holzer back in the late 70s. I'm showing Sol LeWitt and a lot of the people who are now more or less iconic. Everyone starts out, right?
Right, everybody's got to start somewhere.
Everyone starts out, and if you don't have a terrible life, you live long and your work expands. Some people have a shorter career than others. But I think they know Picasso gave us this false sense about art and artists, that artists' careers last over the course of an entire lifetime. But a lot of art is created over a short period of time and then sort of doesn't continue in the same caliber as others. And some artists do great work and are overlooked until they're beyond middle age. And then I've often told artists that imagine a lighthouse and you're sitting on the beach. The light comes around and hits you, you make all the magazines, everyone loves you, everyone's buying your art, and then the light moves on. They forget you. But if you stay on the beach, the light comes around and hits you again. And that applies only to art that can sustain itself for a long period of time. The others do fade away, and there's nothing wrong with not being a famous artist, or not being someone who goes down in history or is collected by museums. There isn't an art world. There are so many worlds that are part of an art, that consist of art. But not every artist is looking for international museum acclaim. And very few of those really make it all the time. The only person that I remember who really called it was Dorothy Miller back in the 40s or 50s, who did an exhibition called 10 Americans. Mm-hmm. And I think 8 or 9 of the 10 are now our most famous artists. But no one, I don't know anyone else who has really achieved that kind of clairvoyance.
Well, you have. You just listed a number of artists that are probably pretty strong, if you want to call them conceptual, but you've had a solid aesthetic judgment.
Well, I've been fortunate too. I also, you know how good chefs tend to hang around together? Artists do too. And likes like. So it's very interesting sometimes if you just listen to another artist saying, you really ought to go to the studio and see this work. I go. I go to studios of 2 different kinds of art that I immediately like and art that I can't stand when I first see it. Because it's probably just making me uncomfortable and I don't feel like doing anything new. But it's just the art that leaves me without any emotion. I just basically ignore and then never go back to. But all collectors want to know, has anyone that they're talking to seen something that they don't want to miss?
Right, something that's compelling, something that resonates.
Right, not necessarily buy, but just to look at.
Right.
Those of us who deal with artists have such a privilege of knowing what's on the artist's mind because we can ask them.
They have conversations.
We have a conversation about it. We know what it is. Artists live in an era. They live in a time, and some of them are just art formal, and we have shown art that is just formal. Robert Ryman has never been accused of making a social argument. Yeah.
Formal exploration.
Sol LeWitt has not been accused of that, but he's actually done that. On very rare occasions, he's mostly formal and reductive. But a lot of art is about being in society and reflecting it. Bruce Nauman, for instance, all kinds of artists who, particularly Jenny Holzer and people like Art Kruger, what they need to be liked is an enlightened community.
Right. An appreciating audience that gets it.
Right, and I think because people are going more and more to see exhibitions, particularly museum exhibitions, they're more open to new things, so I'm having less trouble introducing young art to the public where it's accepted more easily now.
So you think art fairs have played a big role in that as well?
Yeah, art fairs have actually changed the art world exponentially, and not in necessarily popular
mixed
ways. But artists create a body of work for an exhibition, and the intention is to see all that work that was created at a certain moment. When you only go to art fairs and you take pieces of that exhibition and you spread it out over the different art fairs, people never see the whole idea.
It's like a teaser.
It's like a hanging participle. It's just
a fragment.
It's a fragment. But when I first took my first art history course, Art 105, when they flashed a slide on the screen, they said the name of the artist, they said the year it was done, and they gave the size.
Right.
Because scale is really important. So you don't get any of that when you're buying online. You can buy online if you know something really, really well.
Right, if you're already familiar with the artist or the work and you already have a sense of scale.
The color online and the color in person are very different.
And the presence of a piece.
The presence of a piece. Yeah, I think the pleasure of seeing something in person.
It's a visceral response.
Yeah, I agree.
Whether it's intellectual or emotional or both, it doesn't matter, it's direct.
Or negative or positive.
Right.
I hate that. It's fine. Because galleries we go to great lengths to make sure that the walls are painted and things are hanging correctly and nothing's crooked, and we want to have the conversation. We have 3 people and me up front, willing and able to talk to you about anything you want to know. We can show you things. We can take you behind in the back, and we can teach you. We're very happy to do that.
We serve as an educational institution.
We are.
As well
We're a public exhibition space.
Rhona, thank you very much for your insights and your wealth of experience. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure talking to you. I'm sorry if I talk too fast, but as I said, my daughter's coming. So.
Not at all. It's been a pleasure, and I thank you for it.
Thank you very much. It's nice.